serene afternoon. One sunny afternoon, Rondu and Flora walked on the bustling street, feeling the cool autumn air. They held hands, enjoying peaceful moments together. The street was alive with the vibrant colors of fall, the golden and red leaves creating a picturesque scene. Children played joyfully, their laughter blending with the gentle rustling of leaves. An unexpected trigger. Suddenly, they saw a child holding a wooden sword, dancing wildly in the middle of the road. The child played playfully, but each movement reminded Rondu of faint memories of a young man using swordsmanship on the top of a mountain. That young man danced his sword like a dragon and phoenix, strong and graceful like a storm. Caught up in memories, Rondu looked around and broke off a branch from a tree on the side of the road. He felt the magic of memory and began to deploy sword strokes. Rondu's movements were gentle but powerful, each gesture as graceful as flowing water. He threw the tree branch high, turned around, and the branch spun like a tornado. The powerful horizontal sweep caused the leaves to gently fall, creating a vivid picture. Each of Rondu's movements was perfect, without any unnecessary details, demonstrating skill and sophistication. The awakening Flora stood looking at Rondu, her eyes shining with joy and hope. When Rondu stopped, he turned to Flora and recounted the images that flashed in his mind, vague memories of swordsmanship and mountain peaks. Flora listened to every word he said, her heart filled with happiness. "Do you remember anything?" Flora asked, her voice filled with excitement. Rondu nodded, his face beaming. "I'm not sure, but this feeling is very familiar. I feel like I've learned this sword technique before." Flora smiled, holding Rondu's hand tightly. "I'm so happy, Rondu. Maybe this is a big step in recovering your memory." Inner turmoil. However, when Rondu turned away, Flora felt a heavy heart. Although she was very happy for Rondu, she couldn't help but worry. Would the recovery of Rondu's memories change the dynamics of their relationship? Flora knew that her love for Rondu was unconditional, but the fear of losing him still lingered. In that autumn afternoon, amidst the rustling wind and falling yellow leaves, Rondu and Flora continued walking. Even though many challenges lay ahead, they knew that with each other, everything could be overcome. A new path. As they walked, Rondu couldn't shake the feeling that he was on the verge of a significant breakthrough. The memory of the sword techniques felt so real, so ingrained in his muscle memory. He decided to pursue this feeling further, hoping it would lead to more revelations about his past. "Flora, I want to explore these memories more," Rondu said, his voice filled with determination. "Maybe if I practice more, I can unlock more of my past." Flora nodded, her support unwavering. "Whatever you need, Rondu, I'm here for you." The practice begins. Rondu and Flora found a quiet clearing in a nearby park, where Rondu could practice his sword techniques. Using a sturdier branch this time, Rondu began to move through the forms, each movement becoming more fluid and confident. Flora watched with a mixture of awe and hope, as Rondu seemed to transform before her eyes. As he practiced, more fragments of memories surfaced. He remembered a stern yet kind instructor guiding him, the smell of pine trees on the mountain, and the sense of accomplishment when he mastered a difficult technique. These memories filled him with a sense of purpose and clarity that he hadn't felt in a long time. Illusions of the past. Rondu's memories continued to return slowly but steadily. One morning, while walking with Flora through the old market, Rondu happened to see a man nearly 50 years old instructing a group of young children to practice martial arts. That image made Rondu's heart pound. He remembered the martial arts training sessions with his master, the punches, kicks, and even the strict but passionate teachings. Rondu stopped, watching intently. The man turned, his eyes lit up when he saw Rondu. "Rondu, is that you?" he asked, his voice surprised and emotional. Rondu suddenly realized that the man was his old master, Tammy. "Master!" Rondu exclaimed, feeling like part of his memory returned more clearly. Tammy came forward and hugged Rondu. "I can't believe my eyes. You're back." Another time, when Rondu and Flora were walking along the river, they happened to meet two young people. Both had familiar facial expressions that made Rondu stop in his tracks. They approached, their eyes filled with hope and worry. "Rondu, is that you?" One of the two spoke up, his voice shaking. Rondu looked closely and then realized that they were his two younger siblings, Flora and Tatis. The three hugged each other, tears welling up. But all of the above images were just illusions, completely unreal. Rondu wondered, who is Tommy? Who are Flora and Tatis? Questions that Rondu did not find answers to. Those images appeared and disappeared like smoke, leaving only blurred fragments in his mind. Flora's silent observations. Flora stood by, quietly observing the scene, and felt happy to see Rondu starting to find pieces of the past, but could not stop herself from worrying about the future. She could see the joy and confusion in Rondu's eyes, and while she wanted to support him, she also feared the unknown. Increasing worries. The more memories returned to Rondu, the more worried Flora became. Every time she saw Rondu recalling something, she felt her heart tighten. She wondered, when Rondu completely recovered his memory, would he still want to be with her? One morning, when Rondu and Flora sat together in their small house, Rondu looked into Flora's eyes and said, "Flora, I know what you are worried about. I'm not sure about the future either, but I know that I love you now, and that's the most important thing." Flora tried to smile, but tears still fell. "I'm just afraid that when you remember everything, you'll leave me. I don't want to lose you." Rondu hugged Flora tightly, whispering in her ear, "Let's live for the moment and believe that our love will overcome all challenges." Living in the moment. In the sunlight filtering through the window, they sat together, listening to the sound of rain falling outside the window. Although Rondu's memories were still recovering, the love between them remained steadfast, creating a special strength that overcame all difficulties. The encounter. One day, Rondu accidentally discovered a dark shadow looming outside. Instinct prompted Rondu to run out of the house like the wind. Rondu jumped over the more than 2-meter-high fence, his body as lithe as a leopard, and chased after the shadow. The shadow ran away very quickly, but Rondu did not hesitate, launching a fire dragon fist. Even though Rondu's punch didn't touch him, the force of the punch radiated heat and pushed the shadow forward more than 3 meters. This black shadow turned around and threw many sharp knives towards Rondu. The knives flew like lightning, steel flashing in the dawn of the morning. Rondu was forced to step back, his body moving quickly, avoiding the path of these deadly knives. The dark figure took this opportunity and ran away, disappearing into the darkness like a ghostly shadow. Confusion and questions. Rondu returned home, his heart beating loudly in his chest. He asked himself, "How do I know martial arts? How can I easily jump over a 2-meter-high wall like that? How could I throw a punch that knocked my opponent away like that?" Questions swirled around in his head, making him feel more and more confused. He entered the house, looking at Flora, who was waiting with worried eyes. Rondu recounted what had just happened, but he still could not find the answer to his extraordinary abilities. Fuzzy memories began to return, but they were still not enough to explain the whole truth. Flora put her hand on Rondu's shoulder, looking into his eyes. "Rondu, I believe you will find the answer. Be patient and continue to search for pieces of the past." Rondu nodded, feeling the warmth and trust from Flora. He knew that no matter what his past was, now, with Flora by his side, he would not stop on his journey to find himself. With a haunting